Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
Yo, I know y'all ain't playing skee ball. I'm trying to go to bed.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah.
The invoice.
Yep. Boop, boop. Yep. Boop. We're in. We're in.
In Lake Flint.
Yeah. Cool hand Luke over here. I hope Trident sponsors us at some point, huh?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, we're still waiting
Trident
on
the table.
Trident, Budweiser,
Hooters,
and one of the sodas.
Tab
Yeah.
Cola.
Yeah.
So hey man, what's up?
How we doing?
For your first time people, this is Constant Crisis. This is our must-watch series, you know. Again, we don't believe in it. And I don't like when someone says must-watch. Just reiteration here a little bit. So I started a must-watch series because I don't believe in it at all. And so I just thought it'd be cool. I thought it'd be a good place to discuss the movie rules, right? And so I didn't. You looked up a thing, right? And that's cool.
Sure. I look up things.
You looked up, yeah. I look things up all the time. What I have, what do you think? You want to just go through these ones I've written down, then maybe we can kind of cross compare it to,
Yeah.
sort of that site you were looking at. Yeah, let's do that. So basically, these are ones I've written down from the movies we've reviewed at different times, and that's kind of where these come from. So I didn't look these up anywhere. I just kind of wrote them down. So I think you'll find that these are common movie rules.
Yeah.
So basically, just kind of the things that sort of tropes. I guess sort of tropes. Yeah.
Tropes and rules kind of fall into the same kind of thing, but it's more of
Yeah.
like these are the way these stories get told. These are kind of the framework that the stories live within.
Right. Yeah. So, and I didn't want to do. Excuse me. What I like, that's when I like a movie a lot, is typically, because like I think every movie to some degree follows some kind of movie rules, but what I like about things like Pulp Fiction is, it's like, hey, let's just jump in the middle.
Yeah.
And, this will happen, this, and, that's something when I really, it's something that just follows everything to a T, I don't exactly like as much.
Yeah, it's not a cookie cutter. It's more of like a, unique way to tell a story, and it still works out very well. It's still able to get its story across, even if it's a little atypical.
Yeah. All right, so this one comes from a movie we just did, which won't come out till August, but From the Harder They Fall, and I find it's very common. If someone says, don't help, I don't want you to help, it's too dangerous, that kind of thing, you have to help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Anytime anyone's like, no, it's too dangerous, it's like, yeah, but it's kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
We've got shit to do.
Who's going to be in this movie then?
Yeah. Wouldn't really be a great story if it was like from that person's perspective. They're like, stay here, it's too dangerous, and then the camera stays with them.
Yeah,
and we just hear like all the bad shit going on, all the explosions and everything. And they're just like, well, I'm glad I stayed here. That
I'm glad I stayed.
Rough out there, so.
I'm really glad I'm here. More cocoa? These can go with any movie with villains. But, the Bond is what, pretty much applies to. But, and they kind of they shit on it all over it with Dr. Evil and Austin Powers. And it's like, you can't just kill anyone, right? You just have to, you gotta talk, right? Villains are egomaniacs that need people to know that they're winning. And so they give you the entire scope of the plan. And they even give you the you know, the little details that will sink the plan.
Yeah.
You know? Because villains are egomaniacs, and they need you to know that they are smarter than you.
Yeah.
And they have won.
That's kind of, part of it's like, and I'm aware of this extremely obvious flaw, and now you're aware of it. I've told you how to defeat me, but I'm so confident
Yeah.
that you're not even going to get the chance.
But you'll never get out of these loosely tied knots as you're slowly lowered into a pool of piranhas.
Yeah. There's no way. What could go wrong? I'm going to kill...
Ill-tempered, mutated sea bass.
And I'm not even going to watch it happen.
Close the doors, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it to one of the henchmen.
Yeah, villains are ridiculous. Okay. I'm not sure why I wrote this one down, but I feel like it does reign true, and that's why I kept it written down. I don't remember why I wrote it down, but if you're crazy, if you've been proven crazy in a movie, you may not redeem yourself. You are crazy until the end. Unless that's what the movie is about, is you proving you weren't crazy.
Yeah.
But even then, people are still going to kind of look at you like, you know.
Yeah, there's almost no redeeming qualities for it whatsoever. It's like if you're crazy, and that's the only reason why you do all this stuff is because you're a crazy person, and there's no logic to be found there.
It's the only reason you're in the movie.
Yeah. What do you think? We're gonna get a normal guy to do all this fucked up stuff? Are you kidding? No, he's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't remember what we watched that I... Oh, you know what it was? I wrote it down because of Enemy of the State.
Okay.
Because they 100% they decredit. They make him uncredible, right? Like so anything he says, they've messed things up, and so he doesn't look as if he is telling the truth ever. His wife thinks he's lying. I know there's a better word for that I would, but it's like not. It's just not coming. So anyhow, we're moving on from that, but yeah, that's why I wrote that one down. And keeps trying to prove like, oh, this guy.
Yeah. But it can't work out because
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, if you run out of bullets, you cannot be proactive about this situation. You wait to die. Maybe pull a trigger a couple more times just in disbelief.
Yeah.
That you're out of bullets. You just have to wait to die and, hope maybe someone will save you, but you may not, run away.
Yeah, you give up. You run out of bullets? Guess I'll die.
I lose.
But that is kind of a funny thing. I mean, never been in that position.
Right. Maybe you just freeze up,
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, it's like, because you always see that. If you run out, you have to pull that trigger a handful of times just to make sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, that at least comes up quite a bit. But yeah, there's never any action to like try and, continue running away or surviving. It's just like,
well, the perfect one to
I had a
me
good run.
is that in Terminator 2, when they're in the refinery at the end, and, she's got the shotgun, and, the Terminator already stuck the, his... Do you remember that scene? The liquid metal Terminator just, he can turn his body into knives, and he sticks that thing like a knife right through her shoulder, like all the way through, and twists it, and it's all like, oh. And so, this arm's just bum at this point.
Sure.
Because he fucked it all up, and she's doing like the, like doing this deal.
Yeah. Which, man... Terminator 2, really just the...
Fantastic.
Yeah, Terminator 1, Terminator 2. So good.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Awesome.
One-handed trying to take down this thing. Sarah Connor is the truest badass.
And, and that's what's so hard about those movies, too, is, and we discussed this ad nauseum with the Terminator pods, but just there's such great movies, visually speaking, right? Just to watch, and then you start thinking about the, how the time travel part of that works, even a little bit, and you go, oh no, this doesn't work at all.
Yeah, you just have to ignore it.
You have to look past that and just watch the movie, and it's a lot of fun. But yes, she's doing this, right, and boom, boom, and then she runs out. You know, and she's almost got him to the ledge.
Yeah, like,
you know,
just
to fall in their
push
firing.
him.
Run over, kick him, throw the fucking gun at him. You know, the gun's big enough. Do something.
You know what? And that's something too that you almost never see. It's like, you know, if I was out of bullets, this gun is now useless to me. I'm gonna throw the gun at somebody because if that hits you in the face, that might buy me a couple
That
seconds.
hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna react.
And like the thing, you know, the guys all, you know, shotguns were the only thing that like stunned that Terminator.
And that's the thing. He was
You know,
stunned. Like he wasn't doing anything except for trying to recover his body. So it's like, yeah, she could have just like fucking jump kicked this dude and
Do something.
yeah.
Yeah, and she just like, click. She's like, click. You know, and she can't get it to go, and then she, you know, dude comes over, and she's saved by Arnold, of course, you know.
I wish I could be saved by Arnold.
Yeah, it'd be good. So yeah, you must wait to die. If you're in danger and someone's saving you, and you're both running, you can't just run. You gotta have a lot of questions.
Yeah. We're walking and we're talking. We
Wait,
gotta
what
do the
is
whole
this? Hold on, who is he? What's going on? What? I don't know his mom. What are you talking about? What are you...
Well, what's even better is when it's like those instances, but like they refuse to walk and talk. So
Yeah.
it's like we gotta get out of here, and it's like, wait, I have so many questions. Like, bitch, we are about to die. You better move. We gotta
But
go.
they do stop, and you're going like, the thing! Go, run! The thing's right there.
Yeah, it's like you just move the face. Do you see that? Like, is now the time? Can we do this later?
Like, no, I need answers.
Everyone always needs answers. People can't just leave well enough alone. Like, everything has to be fully explained. And maybe that goes back to the, the evil villains having to tell their story. Like, everything has to be
Vice
explained.
an egomaniac.
No.
The victims are control freaks, and the villains are egomaniacs.
Yes.
Therefore, everyone needs to either tell their story or get all the answers.
Yep. God.
Yep. And then this one goes with where I wrote that down first. Is if you're a woman and someone you love's in danger, you can't just like watch the explosion happen. Like you have to run towards the danger and be held back. That's a must.
Mm-hmm. So this is like the restrained woman from some token of love kind of thing, you know? It's like, oh no, it's my son, husband, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I've abandoned all logic and must save them, even though I am not equipped to do any of that.
I'm going to run into the flames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. If there's approaching danger and you are holding keys, you must drop the keys at least one time.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably three.
And preferably three, but there's also like just a gaggle of keys on this key ring, and you have
so many keys.
You have abandoned all memory and recollection of what key you need.
Unlocks what, yeah.
Now, and I can almost respect that too, because I have like 4 silver keys that look exactly the same, and one of them is my house key. And
Yeah,
I still
you're testing
put
keys
almost
every
every
day?
single one. And it's still almost every single day. And like it, I got a shitty lock, so they all get kind of stuck anyway. So even the one that works, like I got to finagle with it.
Where did the other keys go?
My parents' house.
Okay.
And then actually 2 are for my parents' house, and one of them is for their old lock that I need to get rid of now. But
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember my dad just always had all these old... I was like, well, what's that one to? And he'd be like, we don't live there anymore.
But see, that's what it is. If you have the key, you know what key does what. You either don't need it or you have it and you know it's not one you're going to use, which is kind of silly. It's like, why would you keep it? But
yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's just the way to... I keep as little keys on my keys as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like extra stuff. But... Anyway.
So be it.
Drop the keys.
Drop the keys. At least
It's
a
a
dozen
must.
times. Or it's like a if I can roll off of that one a little bit, I'm thinking of more so like in the like the horror movies where it's like, oh no, I've dropped the keys and it's in like a definitely reachable place.
Yeah.
But I have to struggle. Like I've never struggled before in my life to pick it up from something. Like, oh no, it's under the couch. And it's like, oh, the hand's just
Yeah,
jiggling around
yeah,
down
you're
there
just
trying to get it.
Doing a sweeping motion, knocking them around.
But like, and then it always just magically, like, they now have enough room to grab it at the last second.
The last second.
And it's like, if you had like calmed down, like you could have.
Where are they?
Oh,
Oh,
there.
got him.
Got him. Great. And I'd saved myself 30 seconds. I'm probably gonna get away.
It's gonna take 25 more seconds to get over here. I
Right.
got lots of time.
I got time. Start smoking and be like, I got time.
Yeah, it'll probably take him a minute to get over here. Yeah. If you're part of some sort of love interest situation in a movie, you cannot just tell the other person how you feel. You have to internalize the fact that they haven't reciprocated these feelings that they don't know you have, and then do something to actively hurt their feelings so they know they hurt you. And yet... set this whole process back because neither of you know how to express yourselves, you psychopaths.
Yeah. That's a really good one too. And really it's just like so many things would be resolved by just people having a quick conversation. And I hate like and it's I think the rom-com category hits this a lot, but there's a lot of
so hard.
like dramas and like action movies still do this too, but it's like there's always just a like somebody, like one person in this room has the information necessary to resolve all this. They just have to have the conversation now. Just be like, hey, listen, I love you. I killed your brother.
Yeah.
I've lost all of our money. You know, anything like this. And they just refuse to do that and then fuck about for an hour and a half trying to resolve it in the most batshit way possible.
Yeah. That's rough. Well, yeah, speaking on, like, the one person that has the information, this isn't, like, a love interest situation. It's just it's just Star Wars. Like, Obi-Wan, doesn't just straight up tell Luke, like, hey, like, what I said in that podcast was, like, I don't like starting a relationship on a lie. He just goes, like, oh, yeah, Darth Vader killed your father. And then he finds out Darth Vader's his father, and he's all like, why did you tell me?
Oh.
He wasn't ready for the thing. He's like, oh, well, if I would have told you, well...
It's like, couldn't you have prepped him? He would have had time to get over it by then, you know
And then
what I mean?
they use the whole thing, oh, you weren't supposed to go yet. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to let them die.
Yeah.
Thought a Jedi was supposed to protect me. No.
But the plot.
But the plot, exactly. You're right. I mean, that's the most iconic line from Star Wars. It's just, I am your father. And it's not Luke, I am your father.
No.
Get that right at home.
I am your father.
And that was the funny thing doing the Empire Strikes Back pod, was you read subtitles, it's no, I am your father. But I swear to God, I rewound it 5 times. It sounds more like James Earl Jones is saying, me, I am your father. I didn't hear no. But it reads no.
Yeah.
So I watched the subtitle, and it didn't have an O sound. I'm just saying. Rewatch it. You'll see.
I feel like I have to now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch it and be like, no, he says no. Kyle, you're crazy.
Well, now, obviously, if the script's written that way, but it sounds so much more like me. Or
I am
knee.
your father.
Or maybe he can't. Knee! Yeah.
He forgot what his name was. He was like, Nee? Is it Nee? Is it Kevin?
Now he's Sean Connery all of a sudden. Ned. Steven.
That'd be an Oxford thing. He's just sitting there like, are we really doing this right now? Like, you can't, like, it'd be so awkward for both of them. It's like, you don't remember my name? We're doing this whole thing,
It's Luke, man.
it's fine.
Duke. Duke? Is it Duke?
Sorry, the hearing implant doesn't work
Hard
so
of
good.
hearing, hard of hearing. Lots of drinking. What?
This is Sean. Sean Connery replaces every actor ever.
I think that's what this podcast is going to become eventually. It's going to be like every character. We're going to just start. Fuck.
Instead of Content Crisis, it's going to be Connery Crisis.
Crisis! Oh, fuck. I kind of want to change the name now. Oh, I'm tempted. I gotta say. No, but like we're watching like Dark Knight or something, and we just start going, I am vengeance. Me, I'm vengeance.
Yeah.
And I want to have sex with you.
Honestly, that might work better than the. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
So I'm getting down to the bottom here. If time is not on your side, you still at least need a few seconds to gather yourself. Still, don't be afraid. Just take those seconds.
Yeah, no sense of urgency. We're just gonna be like, oh no, it's fine. Just need a minute to catch my breath.
If you we have 10 seconds. Okay, let me just do my breathing exercises.
In through your nose, out through your mouth.
I wrote that down because the Fifth Element, it was funny. Like the president says to the priest in the beginning, he's like you have 20 seconds to speak. And he like gets up and like sighs and he's like straightens his robe. It's like, hey, you have 20 seconds. You just used 7. And then at the end of the movie, they say approaching 40 seconds.
Yeah.
They're doing the countdown, and then he takes. I counted because I'm a cunt like that. He took 66 seconds to convince.
Wow.
Lilu to
Well, see, they're using an
thing.
old clock for the timer, so it runs slow.
No, you're right. And then it takes 66 seconds, and then they start counting down from 10. So, something went wrong there.
Passage of time is convoluted. It's fine.
Yeah. Crash landings go any way you want. If the good guys in the ship or the plane or whatever,
They're gonna crash land just fine.
they're going to be fine, unless it moves the plot along.
Yeah. Yeah, unless we need a tragic hero death or a love interest death, companion death, anything like that.
Right.
Unless it's specifically a plot device to move our main character or story forward,
Right.
they're going to make it.
The bad guy, if he's in there, the question you have to ask is he still important to the story?
Mm-hmm.
And that will decide if his ship blows up or not.
Yeah.
Because we've seen some very minuscule crashes that have resulted in
Catastrophic.
boom. So, enemies can't aim unless it moves the plot along.
Yeah.
Kind of the same rule as the crash landing.
I feel like we could have a pretty long list of henchmen rules because I have a couple here.
Oh yeah,
So-
I'm willing to. Let's go right in. Well, and then my last rule: bygones cannot be bygones.
No, there's no good enough. Someone has to win.
Yeah.
Or someone has to lose, maybe. Sometimes nobody wins, but sometimes someone just loses more.
Yeah.
So moving into some of the henchmen stuff there.
Yes.
So yeah, kind of going with that. It's aim is bad unless it's somewhere to move the plot along.
Yeah.
But it's also in most of the scenarios, the henchmen are supposedly pretty skilled. These are supposed to be top talent guys, but main character is somehow so OP, overpowered.
Yeah.
That they don't stand
That'll
a chance.
look really sweet if you put it there.
Overpowered.
Do it again.
But that's something that always comes up, and then it's always the main character is either so extremely efficient, where it's one bullet to take down every enemy. I'm thinking John Wick style, where he
Yeah.
just murks everybody with such finesse.
Yeah.
And at least in those, if we go with the John Wick approach, he's obviously murking all these dudes, but they at least look like they're putting up a good effort.
Yeah.
They just don't really have any spatial awareness whatsoever.
Yeah.
Also, henchman rule: you can't attack simultaneously. You have to wait
Nope.
for your turn.
Cannot.
And
Not allowed.
that is
unless it moves the plot along.
unless it moves the plot along. Yeah, and usually in that case, that's to restrain main characters so we can provide dialogue
Never
and
to kill.
context. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we don't kill people. We don't kill main characters. We just subdue them and give them the whole plot.
We'll blow up New York, but we cannot murder James Bond on this dock floor.
Yeah.
Who's gonna mop that up?
Who's gonna mop that up? Kevin's off today. We're gonna let this body sit around all weekend?
We would have, but Kevin,
He called in sick.
he's on his honeymoon.
Well,
it's just
Hey, good for Kevin.
good for Kevin. Good for John Smith. I so badly wish that was not a deleted scene from Austin Powers,
Yeah.
because that deleted scene is the fucking best. Yeah, anyhow. Oh, shit, I guess I should explain that one, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. Austin Powers deleted scene when the henchman's head gets eaten by the ill-tempered mutated sea bass. There's a deleted scene where after that happens, they zoom in on his name tag and it's John Smith, and then it cuts to a scene at Hooters, and there's all these guys and Rob Lowe's in it, and he brings beers to the table. He's like, guys, you know what I can't believe? John Smith is getting married tomorrow. And they're all, clink beers. Like, where is John Smith anyway? It's like, oh, well, he's working for Dr. Evil, so sometimes he's got to, work late. He'll be here, though. And then the phone call, and he gets back, and it's like John Smith got eaten.
Ill-tempered sea bass. Mutated,
ill-tempered sea bass.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
So, and then they all just kind of like, well, start drinking.
Just carry on, yeah. So one of the other ones I had here was just kind of like the generic, you always have infinite ammo until it moves the plot along.
Yes.
So it's like you're going through your action sequence, shooting everybody. I'm specifically thinking of like a couple of things, but like two of them are coming from Resident Evil. In one of the CGI movies, they're like it's two dudes literally like in a hallway, or they're on like a kind of like a balcony kind of thing. I think it was from Resident Evil 5, maybe. This is from the game. But like they're just like unloading excessive amounts of ammunition and like they're shooting at each other's feet basically.
Nice.
Like within this distance, like if we were trying to shoot each other, not a single shot lands, and like an excessive amount of ammunition spent. Like no reloading takes place at all.
Yeah.
And then there's another scene I think in one of the like CGI movies for Resident Evil where like Leon's going down a hallway and there's just all these Zambambas. And he just has his pistol with him. And, like, at least, 40 shots go off before he reloads. And it's like, I did the math, and I don't think there's a single weapon that is capable of firing that many shots without reloading.
Maybe if the extended mag was also extended?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He probably has, some, bandolier thing going up, his sleeve or something, so it's just constantly loading.
Well, yeah, it plugs in. He's got to, he grabs the gun, he's got to plug it in, but yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, the other thing about henchmen is they have to, I think part of the job is you have to be 100% unobservant. Unless it moves the story along.
Yeah. Well, and almost as far as I'm concerned, with some of the henchman stuff that makes sense because if your job is just to especially I'm thinking patrol henchmen, where you're just walking around making sure nobody's infiltrating. Those guys have no spatial awareness because shit usually doesn't pop off, I'd imagine. So it's this dude's basically a night security guard, oh shit.
Yeah.
Probably listening to this podcast, you know what I mean? He's not in the job right now. He's just
waking up. We're doing it, and then a night security guy will be listening to this, and they'll be just perk up, oh no, this is when it happens.
Yeah, if you are working night security and you're listening to this podcast, look behind you.
Yeah, something's happening.
Shit is about to pop off, and you are not ready. Call the other henchmen.
Calm, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I had written down. So, we want to move into, what was it? What was the...
I had the, dramatic...
It was called?
I had the dramatic situations one.
Okay.
I want to kind of go through some of those. So this was a list I pulled from Wikipedia, and these were sort of not tropes, but a little bit more of just, narrative things that were really common. So this was first proposed by Georges Pulte in 1895, and this is to categorize dramatic situations that might occur in a story or performance. Obviously this was a little bit more in books and theater and whatnot, but wanted to come through just a couple of these here just because it sort of fits. So just going through a couple of them here. So Deliverance was one of these where it's an unfortunate event or an unfortunate person, a threatener, and then a rescuer. So the unfortunate has caused a conflict, and the threatener has to like now carry out justice, but then the rescuer saves the unfortunate. So this would be kind of a lot of like maybe superhero movies or something like that, where it's like a like, oh no, like I'm not so well off, and then I have this person that's like threatening and trying to do me harm, and I'm waiting for my big hero to come in and save me.
Right.
So that can be like the unfortunate, innocent, whatever. And then crime pursued by vengeance. So we have a criminal and an avenger. So you can look at pretty much any of like the superhero movies and a lot of like the action hero movies. You know, you get your really early, on or off screen death, and then it's all right, I'm gonna change the whole course of my life now to murk a couple dudes and go like way out of my way just to get some vengeance, and then by the end I'll probably have learned a lesson.
And the law is not going to have any problems with it.
Yeah, no.
That's what's always amazing to me. Like the like secret agent movies and shit like that.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, he's going rogue, and then all's forgiven. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you eventually kill like that guy.
Yeah. Plot armor comes in various forms. Sometimes that's in protection from the law, protection from the bullets. In James Bond's case, protection from STDs. So that holds up pretty well. And then kind of going into like the like revenge kind of things, like vengeance taken for kin upon kin. So if you kill somebody's brother, then their brother's going to come out for you, and kind of full circle for stuff like that.
Law not an issue here.
Yeah. Where it's clean slate. I killed one of his people. He killed one of my people. We're good.
Eye for an eye. It's fine.
Eye for an eye. Yeah, that's there's a clause somewhere in state laws that just says
you gotta really dig, but it's in there.
It's in there.
It's in there.
And then pursuit, just kind of as a one, but it's a little bit of like pursuit or like fleeing from like the law or like from justice. So it's like and this could be either like you did a crime and now you're trying to flee because maybe you're still a good person, but you don't want to go to jail, or maybe there was a reason don't want to go to jail.
And you can do as many illegal things as you want as long as you were innocent of that first crime.
Right.
All's forgiven.
But even in some of the cases where it's like they didn't know that this person was this bad, like I had every right to kill this person. But then some people who are like, falsely accused of something, and now they have to escape and flee and, keep themselves alive until the truth can get out.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to there's the person in the room who has the information necessary.
Who could just...
if they just could get 5 minutes to explain the whole thing, they'd probably be fine.
Yeah. God, I hope I'm never in one of those situations.
That's why, like, if you're ever in something like that, just start rambling. Just be like, oh, listen, I don't know. I wasn't there that night. I know this guy did this thing. I wasn't the guy who shot him. We saw somebody's car get hit, but we weren't the guys.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had just disaster. So this could be either man-made or, like, natural-made. So if you look at, like, movies like Twister... or natural disaster kind of thing, nothing to really do. There isn't really a antagonist, unless you want to call it tornado and antagonist. But
antagonizing motherfucker.
But that goes back to kind of like the, I guess like the more classic like ways to tell a story where it's like man versus man, man versus God, man versus nature kind of stuff.
Right.
Falls a little bit into that there, but could be both like a man-made disaster. Think like bombs going off or. Biological warfare, anything like that.
Yeah, man-made disasters. Would you say that constitutes man versus man still?
Well...
If it's man-made disaster?
Yeah.
Technically?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
It's less direct though, Yeah, like if you're thinking anything that's, like if I, biological weapon, I made it and I drop it into a city or something, it doesn't feel as personal like man versus a man.
Unless you know that fucking asshole Dave that lives there.
Yeah. Yeah, unless it is like very targeted, I feel like that might not fall quite within it because like man versus man is supposed to be like a little bit personal.
Yeah,
like there's a reason it's a me versus you. And in that case it might just be, I'm a crazy ass and I want to poison some people.
Or what if some guy's mad at James Bond, they just drop it on London?
Yeah.
That's man versus man, right? James Bond's not there, by the way. He's an international man of mystery.
You're right. We don't know where he's at. They don't even know where he's at. There's just a bunch of poisoned people in London right now.
Yeah.
That's just collateral damage at that point.
And that's revenge. It turns into a revenge thing.
Yeah.
Vengeance, yeah.
Next thing you know, we got a 2-3 movie arc going on, and we made our billion.
You get your billion.
So I'll kind of blow through some of these other guys, so like falling prey to cruelty or misfortune, or just being on the other end of cruelty or misfortune. So somebody else does something, and you're just kind of the bystander, and now you have a plot device to be like, oh, well, am I going to get revenge? Am I going to provide justice? What do I do in that kind of situation?
Yeah.
We got revolts, revolutions, so, we got a tyrant, a dictator, or whatever at the top there, and enough is enough. We cannot stand idly by. We gotta fuck shit up.
Yeah, I agree. Any of those kind of can produce that revenge movie.
Yeah.
The misfortunate under the certain circumstances, and then, that's essentially what Iron Man 2 was.
Yeah.
Was dude being like, oh, Tony Stark makes weapons. It's a family name.
Yeah.
My country's a mess. Gotta go kill him. I'm like, all right.
It's like, whatever you gotta do. It was a very loose reason to go through all that effort. But
his name's on the box, man. Oh, I was hoping you'd say something so I could cut you off and say his name's on the box, but you never said anything, so.
What?
I was hoping you'd say something.
Mm-hmm. And then you cut me off by
saying... Name's on the box, man!
Alright. It's all Tony Stark's fault.
It didn't work.
Justice for victims of Tony Stark. It's okay, he's dead now, so.
Yes.
It just took a couple movies. And a couple billion.
Couple efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got abduction, so, I can only think of Taken.
Yeah.
And usually, at least in my experience with any of like the...
Man on Fire.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yes.
I haven't watched that for a long time. So anytime somebody's taken, it's usually also like they are unnecessarily kept like safe in a way the entire time, even though like they should be a pretty disposable person.
It would hurt the hero more if they would just kill the hostage.
Yeah. But yeah, for whatever reason, it's just like we'll keep him around.
Hold on to him.
There's something special about this one.
Well, although in Taken, she wasn't really held on to. Like, she was actively being sold. Like, that was just... Whereas Man on Fire is like, what the fuck do these dudes care about a little girl for? But then they argue that... Or what the dude says on the phone to him is like little girls aren't any good to me dead.
Yeah.
Like, he still always wants the money. So even though he told them that he killed her... I don't know.
Fine.
I don't know, like, you kind of... It's like, would a villain really be like, yeah, I kill her, and then later be like, hey, I didn't kill her, so you can still come get her.
Yeah.
Like, little girls aren't good to me dead. It's like, well, why'd you say she was dead?
Because maybe he'd give up.
Because of the plot.
Yeah. Yeah, because of plot. But, whatever gets you off your back. If you had a pursuer or something, and you're like, hey... that person you're coming after me for? They're gone now. Like I killed them.
Yeah.
Do you still want to do this? Do you still want to pursue?
And then it turned out, yes,
Yeah.
he was fucking everybody up in a trail to you. But he's like, oh fuck.
There's miscalculation. He's told at least a dozen other people that the victim was dead or the abductee was dead, and he got off. So he was like,
Yeah.
you win some, you lose some. Didn't work out this time. Alright, let's go through here. So going into some of the crazy stuff, one of them is just madness, where it's a madman and a victim. So like The Shining, that'd be a good example.
Yeah.
But anything like that, where it's just like the, either progressively turning into a madman, or just, kind of different ways you can go about that. You're either progressing into the madman, you're always a madman, but it's just more obfuscated until plot, or it's just, you were batshit from day one and everyone knew it. And you just have your victim. It's always a good one. Involuntary crimes of love. So usually some kind of like taboo involved. It's like,
stepsister porn.
Yeah, it's not illegal. It's just
involuntary.
Well, I hope it's voluntary. That's a very different type of porn there, but
No, I mean, like, the people couldn't help themselves. You know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I
Stepsister porn. It's involuntary.
no stepsister. But yeah, usually something involved like that, where it's like we probably shouldn't be doing this, but horny,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do it anyways. But usually breaking some kind of like taboo, trust, something like that. Self-sacrifice for an ideal. So this is where you have, your hero, your protagonist, you got your ideal, and then you pretty much have to either yourself lose and die or sacrifice to that ideal in some, heroic, like I believe in this more than I believe in me, like this will live on due to my efforts kind of thing. Or it's in some cases, like the sacrifice of what's important to them for the ideal.
Yeah.
So it's like some people abandon, people for, whatever they believe in.
I like when like a movie doesn't follow. I mean, I said this earlier. I know, so that kind of sounds redundant, but I just thought of another one like The Departed, where you do still kind of get the revenge thing, with Mark Wahlberg in the end of that, but I can't remember his character's name in the movie right now, so since I can't remember, he's just Mark Wahlberg right now.
Mm-hmm. Mark Wahlberg. That's fine.
And just the way that, like, just the chaos. Like, I love a chaos ending.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like life's just chaos. And, like, nothing ever goes exactly the way it should or the way anyone wants to.
And we even talked about that. It's almost preferred when stuff doesn't work out, and it's a nice little bun and anything. So, yeah, the chaos as far as, telling a story or having things finish up definitely works out nice.
Yeah, or just a story where even, okay, that was resolved, and now, like, they think everything's over, but then, that last frame is,
the
villain they thought they vanquished, kind of like, okay, leading into the next, but like, just that villain that's sitting there going, I'll be ready.
I'll be back.
I'll be ready next year.
Yeah.
You just wait.
You just wait. Yeah, another year and a half once we finish filming these scenes, I'm going to come back and fuck shit up.
I don't know.
I got you.
The non-traditional ending is probably my favorite.
Well, and so I think that was something we talked a little bit too about our, deserted island movies.
Yes.
Most of our ones that we'd picked for those didn't really involve much of like twist endings or like any kind of trick things like that. But it is a really good, plot device, I guess, when it's just like a, last chunk of the movie, everything appears to be wrapping up nicely, and then it's just like oh shit.
Yeah.
It's back, there's something new, we're not safe, anything like that. And then that usually sets you up pretty nice for some sequel material.
Indeed. And then, that's a movie rule. Sequels gotta suck.
Yeah. It's not a rule, it's just an unfortunate byproduct.
I'd argue it's a rule. No, I'm just kidding. What, off the top of your head, what are good sequels you can think of?
Good sequels? Well, The Dark Knight is immediately coming to head.
I forget that that's considered a sequel, yes.
Yeah. And again, we talked about this before too. The Dark Knight is so good that I will always forget that it's the second movie in its trilogy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's up there. Lord of the Rings series. I'd say 2 and 3 are better than 1.
Sure.
When
it's designed to be a series, you almost don't see that drop off, but you can tell when
the first movie did great and they decided they had budget for a sequel.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, that was a success. Go ahead and do it again. And then someone went, oh, shit. Okay. I think...
Yeah, they're just quick notes like, what if we did this?
Yeah.
And they're like, great, you have 6 months to film and get it ready. It's like,
For example, I think... I don't know how Terminator 2 came to be, but it seems like either the action was just so good that maybe the story wasn't even that great and we just overlooked it because everything was awesome.
Well, I feel like like you mentioned, we do have to overlook a little bit with Terminator specifically because
Yes,
some things
the story.
just.
You know what? That's a fair point. The story does suck. Kyle Reese cannot go back in time and impregnate a woman so that a man is born so that he can then be sent back in time to.
It's
Yeah.
It's a rough circle.
Yeah, the guy younger. No.
It just doesn't work out.
So there's that whole thing, and so Terminator's story is just like I don't know how The Godfather was written either, but I feel like Godfather 2. It feels like they planned to have another one, and Godfather 3 was what felt like
The tacked on kind of.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and
Just drug on, and the whole point of the Godfather series was like the Godfather. It's this mob thing, you know, and like the third one, I felt like was hardly about the mob. It was just like him trying to win back his old girlfriend or his old wife, rather, and it's just okay.
Yeah, it's like why do I care now? It's like it wasn't written quite for the same crowd that would have watched the first two. It's like this isn't the logical progression of this story. This is like a side story. But I mean, with how long those movies are, with how much they try and cram into it, like I can understand, like, oh yeah, by the time you get to a third movie, you're probably running short of like your really great hard hitting.
So don't make it. You know.
But money.
I know, money. And Pacino was great in that movie. You know. Well, you don't know. I don't think you've watched Godfathers, but
No.
But 1 and 2, I highly suggest. I think they're both great. And then 3. I mean, 3 is just kind of mandatory if you make it through 1 and 2.
You might as well.
Okay, how's it go?
Yeah.
But yeah, the plot just very much trailed off into this. I mean, we'll do Godfather at some point. So
yeah,
whether that be, who knows who does it, but maybe it's you and I. Let's just do it. You want to do it right now?
Yeah.
All right, let's stop this one. Let's just watch Godfather.
Let's just watch Godfather. Yeah, we got time. It'll take us the rest of the day, but
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, no, just those ridiculously long movies that get. Yeah, not. All right, that was a long tangent. All right, next.
So, I don't remember if I said this one already, but this is just like traditional adultery. You have, your love interest, and then some other rando. They have their affair, their whatever thing, and then it's trying to like reconcile with that. So it depends on which route you go down. If you're in your rom-com, then it's like the finding out the truth of why you're together to begin with, and forgiveness. If it's an action kind of thing, that's where we usually go more so down like the revenge plot. If it's drama, that's usually when we just start having a terrible personality and everybody just freaks out about everything.
Yeah.
So that one can go in a couple of different ways, just based off of what category we're trying to go into.
Bygones cannot be bygones.
Bygones cannot be bygones. No,
this applies to most of these concepts.
Nobody is allowed to move on. Nobody's allowed to reconcile. No one is allowed to explain themselves.
No forgiveness.
Nobody is allowed. There's. All of these can go back to if someone had 5 minutes to just explain the situation. Everything would be so much better.
Or if the person in trouble, in this case, the tragedy of love, right? If they had said in the beginning of the relationship, "Oh, hey, by the way, I dated this crazy bitch, and then this problem might come up later."
Yeah.
Just so you know. But
It's courteous.
Yeah, that person just goes, I better bury that.
Yeah, they're like, that's a lot of trauma I'm not really willing to bring up right now, so we're just going to pretend that's not here.
Just leave that alone.
Let's see what else we got. An enemy love, so kind of the, either, it could go two ways. It could be like the, your lover who becomes the enemy. This could be either through, like secret identities, keeping secrets, anything like that from them. Or the enemy that turns into the lover, where it's like you realize, we're on different sides, but there's still something there. And usually it's just as a way to have a sex scene in a movie and move the plot along in some way.
That's always so funny to me. Like, did you watch the show Barry?
A little bit.
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
So in season 2, she gets mad at Barry because he gets this audition for this big part, and she's been like working at it forever, and he just kind of like waltzes in. He's like, oh, "Hey, I got an audition tomorrow." She's like, "What?"
Yeah.
But she goes on this whole thing, and she's just ranting at him. And the thing she says is like, "I don't believe in nudity unless it moves the plot along." And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's a way to get around said nudity or said sex scene in like any situation. You know, like the Bond scenes are always just
pan out, fade to black kind of thing.
Like they're gonna sex. Like that's how this is working. You know, so the fact that
unless
anyone
it's
would ever
the
agree
Sean
with
Connery ones, and it's I'm going to sex. This is not a team effort.
It's understood they are sexing. You know, and the camera pans out, and then did you watch Dr. No, by the way?
Not yet.
Okay, I can't wait to. I know you'll text me the moment that you see the scene of like the two of them, and then pans out, and then the first shot is her brushing her hair in the mirror, and the view of Sean Connery in the mirror behind her smoking, and
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I know you'll text me immediately.
I'm looking forward to it.
Anyhow, yeah.
So, moving on, the last couple, nothing too crazy. Conflict with a god. So usually it's the mortal, immovable object
Thor.
conflict kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, it could be an actual god, sure, but it's usually just the I am the little nothing, and then my opposition is the big something, and a lot of futility involved with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of these are a little bit less cool, but those were good ones. Thought that'd be kind of a good tie-in for this type of stuff. So
yes, I liked that.
Yeah.
I think that really tied kind of our self-made ones, and a lot of connections between the two of them, especially. Like literally, all of them can pretty much come back to bygones cannot be bygones.
no, it is illegal.
If there's all right, so would it be fair to say that the number one rule of movies is that bygones cannot be bygones?
Yeah.
Because every movie would be extremely fucking boring.
In short.
If everyone just said, "Hey man, that kind of hurt my feelings," and then the other guy said,
I'm sorry.
"You're right, man. I'm sorry about that." And I'm like, "I forgive you."
Roll credits.
Tom Cruise in It's Cool.
Oh my gosh! Honestly, that'd be a good thing for just like really, really short skits. Is you get some big name actors, and it's literally just like these smallest interactions.
How much do you have to pay that actor though?
Yeah, a lot.
Just
but
to-
you know,
just
like
to
it'd be
just
like
to have an apology.
yeah, so it'd be like Tom Cruise or something.
Cool.
You know, he's walking down the street, he gets bumped by somebody or whatever, and Tom Cruise spills his coffee on himself. He's like, "Man, like what the hell?" And then the guy's just like, "You know what? I'm sorry. Had a rough day. Like I didn't mean it." It's like it's cool. They just head nod at each other, turn around, fade to black.
Some epic riff comes in, you know. Or no, fucking Danger Zone comes in. It's Top Gun. Credits roll, and it's still just a huge list of credits. Still,
Yeah, because there'd still
reason.
be 4 million people involved with this.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Cruise. That's coming in July, guys. Tom Cruise. It's cool. All right, so number one rule of movies is bygones cannot be bygones. Do we have a second one? Should we get a top 5 going here?
Let's build out a list here. Yeah,
Let's get a top 5. So number 1.
bygones can't be bygones.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. No. Just every time, like, just keep a running list about here. Keep on here. No, don't do it. Don't. That's so much. All right, so bygones cannot be bygones. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 of movies. Would we say that something about the love stuff, right?
So would we want to go with like the like revenge for love, or if we want to do the sacrifice for love, or the not telling them anything out of love? We got options.
Yes.
The involuntary crimes of love, the stepsister thing. That's gotta be number 2.
Just rule number 2: stepsister porn.
Stepsisters.
No, I think you go rule number 2. Full disclosure. Lack of disclosure.
Yeah.
Mandatory. Lack of disclosure mandatory.
Yeah. You can't explain the situation. They can't know enough to protect themselves.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know why I'm doing it on the last one, just the last little bit of space I have.
You got room.
Number 1, bygones cannot be bygones. Number 2, non-disclosure, a must. Number 3.
So I want to go with either, with our antagonist, the plan has to be presented in full.
Evil plots, full disclosure, mandatory.
Yeah.
Full disclosure for evil plots. Yeah.
And then I like the, if we had 5 minutes to talk this out, we could resolve this whole thing.
I feel like non-disclosure is probably a must. Non-disclosure a must probably captures that a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
So number 4, I think we would say
Law doesn't apply to revenge.
the law is very pliable.
That makes it more
Unless it moves the story along.
Unless it moves the story along.
Law is pliable unless plot says otherwise. Unless plot requires otherwise. And number 5. Will it be the most important?
No.
Number 1. Bygones cannot be bygones.
That's the most important.
Well, I would say should it have to do with time? I had 2 about time. Well, 2 about time if you really get into it. So time of, even if you have limited time, you still have to take a moment to collect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you have keys, you're
You have
required
to-
to drop them at least once.
Yeah.
More, preferably. We like you more when you drop them more. So both of those kind of have to
gross
do with
misuse
time.
of time and...
And again, so I think the 5th rule is time is relative.
Yeah. Yeah, because then going back into, 66 seconds for the 40-second countdown or whatever, time is...
Time is relative.
Yeah. Relative to plot.
To plot, yes. Yeah, okay. Alright, so, just in review. The top 5 movie rules. Number 1, this is the most important. Bygones cannot be bygones. Number 2, non-disclosure is a must. Number 3, the wording on number 3 should be, unless it has to do with evil plots.
Yeah.
That's how that one goes. I'm just changing the wording because, this will be our big...
Yeah, we can go back and reference
our big
this.
social media thing.
Yeah.
Just post it on Twitter. Hey, these are the 5 movie
There's
rules.
5 rules. Follow them.
Unless
Tell your friends.
it has to do with evil plots.
I love evil plots.
Number 4. Law is pliable unless the plot requires otherwise. Number 5. Time is relative to plot. Those are the 5 movie rules. Most important.
I think that's a good list. Now, are we going to reference these when we go through some of the other movies and, start checking our boxes and be like,
Yes.
so this was a good movie? How many of these...
This is the kind of thing I'm looking for. I never know what to do with certain kinds of movies. Because a lot of time I watch a movie and I just start being a cunt and I'm like, fucking wearing green.
Fool.
Or
Who
what-
wears green?
Like he was just wearing red, now he's in green. I don't just, continuity things.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I'm being a cunt about. I feel like recently I've started doing things about meaning more so. So I think if we continue to kind of hit the meaning parts of these movies, except with Bond, you just kind of go like, yep, there's the woman, there's the car, there's the plot.
Yeah.
You know, we could probably do the top 5 Bond movie rules in the recap when we get done with all of the James Bond.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's an episode I'm looking forward to, where we do top Bond gadget, like favorite Bond gadget, favorite Bond girl,
Bondmobile.
Bondmobile, that kind of thing. I'm going with the Lotus of Spray. This is my favorite so far. That's the one behind you, the white one that turns into a submarine.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the coolest. We just did Spy Who Loved Me last night, but no one will see that until, I think, at least December, at the rate they're being released.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, bitches! Lotus of Spray. Yeah, so, yeah. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so this is a nice thing to
Kind of go back and reference as
be
we
able
move
to
forward.
compare our movies to. Yeah. So, this will be used. Not in any of the podcasts you'll see in the near future, because we stay about 2 months ahead on the movies. So this one is pretty current. We're recording this on like June 20. Is it?
24th?
I didn't get close enough. June 26th today.
26th? What year is it?
Yeah.
Well, and just like
What
rule
day
number
is it?
5,
What year?
time is relative to plot.
Yes, time's relative to plot. This will come out as soon as we're, done.
As soon as the plot allows.
I didn't say were. I said were, and that's not as soon as Jason's done with it, he's the mastermind behind the videos.
You're welcome.
Because I'm too stupid to do anything with technology other than click, audio, MP3, upload.
Hey, that's better than some people.
So, alright, this was fun. I think we got a good list going.
Yeah.
I gotta leave that up so I can write that down permanently somewhere. And, so thanks for listening and viewing. And don't forget to subscribe and like it and whatnot.
And comment.
And comment on it. And email us at ConstantCrisisHotline@yahoo.com. And tell us we're stupid at ConstantCrisis1 on Twitter. So, thanks for viewing or listening. And goodbye.